Welcome to St. Louis on the Air. I'm Don Marsh. St. Louis tenor Scott Kennebeck is one busy guy. He performs all over the world, is heavily involved with music and the St. Louis Archdiocese, and in fact is executive director of St. Louis Cathedral Concerts. He has performed at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome and for Pope John Paul during his St. Louis papal visit. And when time allows, you might hear him performing the national anthem at a blues hockey game. This weekend, he'll sing with the St. Louis Ballet during its Love Stories program at the Two Hill, and he has many local performances scheduled over the next couple of months. Scott joins me in studio. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Don. Thanks for having me. Man, I need to take a nap.
I was going to say, I'm surprised you could find the time to join us there, but we're grateful for that.
It's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you.
You're singing with the ballet this weekend. I guess
Yes.
Valentine's Day is in everyone's blood and spirit this weekend.
Well, as soon as Christmas is over, December 26th, they've got the red hearts out on the shelves in the stores, and everybody's ready for love.
What are you going to be performing with the ballet?
Well, they're doing 6 smaller ballets, and I'm just in one of them with Gina Galati.
But you're not dancing, I assume.
No, I'm not dancing, and I don't have to wear tights. So we're all lucky for that. So we're doing some Puccini songs. It's not his opera pieces, but they're songs that were really discovered around 2004, and Placido Domingo has recorded them, but a lot of people won't be familiar with them. So we're happy to bring them to St. Louis, and Gina Galati will be performing with me.
There are a lot of love songs, classical love songs, that many people are not familiar with, but of course, all the great composers wrote about love.
That's right. It's a familiar topic to all of us.
Now, you've made such a great reputation here locally for your voice and your performances, but I want to play something for you now.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. Car ton bois c'est pour te l'épée, il c'est porter la croix. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Scott Kennebeck, you've done so much with such great reviews, and I think many people are talking about this more than anything.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, this was a big newsmaker. I even made the news in the Montreal Gazette. The sports writer wrote up a little story about the game that night. That was on January 30th against the Montreal Canadiens, and I got a special mention, so that was pretty cool.
Because you sang the national anthems of both countries
That's
that
right.
night.
Yeah.
Well, what brought you to do that?
Well, the blues and the symphony got together over the summer, actually, back in July and August, and you had to submit an audition recording, a tape, a video. So I did that. They had about 650 submissions or so, I believe, and from that group, they selected 38 that did a live performance at Powell Hall. And with the symphony, they ran it as they do a regular symphony blind audition. So the 38 of us had to go out on Powell Hall's stage across carpet so they couldn't hear us walk. No one was to say anything. They just announced your number and you were supposed to start singing. So to a black curtain, and the judges, who were Amy Kaiser, the symphony chorus conductor, Charles Glenn, the usual anthem singer for the blues, and Daniel Lee, the principal cello player for the symphony, were the judges. So I go out, and I had chosen to sing "Oh Danny Boy," because the first round we had to sing something that was not the national anthem. So I sang that, and I turned around to walk off, and they had been very serious. Don't say anything to anyone. Don't give any indication who you are. So I turn around to walk off after I had sang, and I hear this voice from behind the curtain. "You going to sing that for the fight tonight?" And I was like, I don't know what he's talking about, but it happened to be the day of those auditions was the day of the big fight between Conor McGregor and Mayweather. So I had sung "Oh Danny Boy," and so this voice said, "Are you going to sing that for the fight tonight?" And I was like, do I answer? Do I just keep walking? So I said, well, I maybe, I hope so. And I just walked off, and luckily I was able to go on to the next round, and that's where we actually sang the national anthem, and I was one of the selected winners.
How do you feel about auditioning? I mean, you've got a reputation.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a little nerve-wracking. It really is for me. I feel part of it is that some of my reputation, whether it be deserved or not, people expect a lot from me, which I'm happy to deliver on when I'm in good voice and when I can. But I think that puts a little bit of added pressure for auditions for me personally. But
I can't think of much pressure much greater than just singing the national anthem. It's a very difficult song tune to manage.
It is a very difficult song to sing, and it's phrased so oddly that my biggest fear is forgetting the words, of course,
which has happened on many occasions,
many times to some very fine singers. It just kind of happens. Just the way it's phrased, it's just kind of weird when you're thinking it through, trying to sing it, but and then trying to remain on the tune. It's a challenging piece to sing.
You mentioned O Danny Boy,
Yes.
a wonderful Irish tune, needless to say. But you're into kind of an Irish thing now, I would guess.
Well, yeah, along with Valentine's Day, shortly after that is St. Patrick's Day. So last March, my collaborator and friend John Walsh and I did a tribute concert to John McCormick at the Sheldon. And just before Christmas this year, we recorded everything for a new disc that we're going to be releasing in a couple weeks called Emerald Tribute, which is a tribute to John McCormick. And Oh Danny Boy is on there, but there's also other pieces, lovely music that John McCormick would have sung himself at the beginning of the 1900s.
The great Irish tenor,
he really was. He was the bee's knees back then. He really was it. And right when recording was coming into its own, he was the go-to guy. He recorded over 800 records of songs throughout that era, and I'm happy to reintroduce some of them. Some of them are Irish. We've got Oh Danny Boy on there, like I said, but one of my favorites is Down by the Sally Garden, which is on this CD as well.
And we can listen to at least part of that.
Oh, great.
Down by the Sally Gardens, my love and I did meet. She passed the Sally Gardens with little snow white feet. She bid me take love easy as the leaves grow on the tree. But I, being young and foolish, with her did not agree.
Scott Kennebeck, I hate to interrupt that, but we do have limitations on time. But that's beautiful and obviously comes from the heart. But maybe there's a good reason for that. Huh?
Well, I am a little Irish, so I do have Irish blood in me. But there are many connections that John McCormick has to St. Louis that we discovered during our research for that performance. He sang here at the World's Fair. He was part of the Irish contingency to the World's Fair in 1904. He had just won the big national singing competition in Dublin and came over with some of the other winners and sang at the Irish Pavilion at the World's Fair over in Forest Park, and actually proposed to his wife Lily while he was here. They were both here in St. Louis. So it's really, really amazing. Some of the other things on this CD that we have that have St. Louis connections are a few of the poems by Eugene Field that have been set to music that John McCormick sang. We have the Little Boy Blue, which was used in the one movie that John McCormick made in the late 30s. So and some other pieces, but it's wonderful to have those ties to our local area.
Yeah, another St. Louis connection is over the years. If you've ever been to O'Connell's Pub,
Right.
you can hear John McCormick more often than not.
That's right.
Do you have to be a tenor to sing Irish music?
Oh, I don't know about that. That's a good question. It helps. It helps.
It seems that your real focus, though, over the years has been religious music.
Well, definitely. That's where my heart is. I take my faith very seriously, and I love sing. I've always said I just want to sing for Jesus, and luckily my career I've been able to do just that. And I've had some wonderful opportunities through the cathedral and the archdiocese to share my faith through music. And hopefully, I do a lot of weddings and funerals too. And that's one of my favorite things too, to help people through their grief at their sorrowful times and to help them celebrate in the joyous times.
Right. And you've had the opportunity to perform at St. Peter's Basilica in Rome.
Yes.
And also for Pope John Paul when he was here in St. Louis 15 years ago, or 18 years ago, whatever.
Almost
whatever
20, yeah.
Oh, God, well, time flies. Tell me about that experience. You were not performing for the Pope at the Basilica at St. Peter's, were you?
Well, we did do. I have done several papal masses in St. Peter's Basilica, and I've sung at all the major basilicas in Rome. So St. Mary Major, St. Paul outside the walls, St. John Lateran. But we have done several papal masses. In fact, the first time the Archdiocesan Choir went to Rome, we sang at a papal mass, and that was the last time that Mother Teresa and John Paul II were together. She had come to that mass, so it was pretty cool when you think back that two future saints were right there.
I remember when Mother Teresa came to St. Louis. And that's been 30 years ago, I guess.
Yeah, it came to the cathedral. I was there for that, too.
Absolutely. Well, you talk about pressure. What kind of pressure do you feel, being a man of such faith, as you've indicated, to perform at a papal mass or for the Pope?
Well, it's kind of like a command performance before the Queen, if you were English, I think. But for me, it's always, whether it's a papal mass in St. Peter's or just a small family funeral mass at a small church. It's not about me or my performance. It's about leading people to Jesus and helping them express their faith.
We have another clip that we can listen to that is more in line, I think, with the things that you are most familiar with. Tell us about this. That we're
this piece called Ave Verum is by Carl Jenkins, and it's on the CD that I released a couple of years ago with John Walsh called Pie Jesu, and this piece is Ave Verum.
Scott Kennebeck, you do have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
And it shows off so well there. I'm interested in hearing the organ in the background. We did a program here recently on organ music.
Oh, yeah.
It is such a powerful instrument. And, it is just so strong and it's so present. It's got to be somewhat intimidating, I would think, for someone like yourself.
Well, really not for me. I've been singing at the cathedral since I was 8, so I've been there for quite a while. I started singing in the Pontifical Boys Choir that Dr. Mario Salvador had there for ages, and I've just been there all my life, and I've really grown accustomed to it. And particularly for me, I think my voice suits the cathedral space, and having that kind of instrument, all 7,621 pipes behind you, it inspires me. So
we've had a pretty good example today of the versatility of Scott Kennebeck. I notice in the number of concerts that you have coming up, among them will be performances with the Ambassadors of Harmony, which is yet another dimension.
Well, I unfortunately I am not actually singing with them. I'm hosting them at the cathedral because my day job, when I have a moment, is executive director of cathedral concerts down at the cathedral. So we are having the Ambassadors of Harmony in March 24th. Those tickets are going fast, so get them soon. But actually coming up sooner, on Thursday, February 22nd, we have a group called Seraphic Fire coming that's going to do a wonderful Monteverdi program of pieces that he wrote for St. Mark's Basilica in Venice, which is a space very similar to the cathedral. So it's going to be a great concert.
How do you fit all this in? You do have that day job.
I do, but luckily it's all in the same place. So I'm there pretty much all the time. You can ask my wife that. But it's been a wonderful experience. Something that I wouldn't give up.
Well, you do have a series of concerts coming up. Rest assured, we're going to put all of them on our website so people can make their plans now for all that you're doing, Scott Kennebeck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. Again, congratulations on all that you do and do so well.
Thank you very much, Don.
It's a pleasure talking to you and a pleasure to listen to you.
Thank you.
That is Scott Kennebeck. We'll put that confirmation on our website, as I said, but the St. Louis Ballet performances that we mentioned earlier are Saturday at 8 and Sunday at 2:30 at the Two Hill. Look forward to that. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio, 90.7 KWMU.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.